Hello, and again, thank you for having us, taking this moment to reach out. I am hip hop cultural specialist Kable Reid. I study under the lineage of Africa Bambaataa, Cool DJ Herc, and KRS-One, directly guided and taught by KRS-One, as well as ministers in a root of the Temple of Hip Hop. With that being said, my main focus is the preservation of hip hop culture, which is really directly through the consciousness, which manifests the culture, and then its products and services and elements, forms of expression. With hip hop activism, Reies really kind of laid it out that hip hop is an intelligent movement. There's a lot of people that don't fully maybe understand or feel that they are a part of hip hop, but we are all part of hip hop in a consciousness sense. The cultural aspect, I think a lot of us are, it might be misinterpreted, and really hip-hop is the child of the civil rights movement. And so kind of being out of that birth and disconnected from that, again, my purpose was Save the Kids and the Minnesota Hip Hop Coalition, as well as many other endeavors across the country and the world, is reminding people or remembering, helping people to remember or re-ember, re-spark that knowledge of the intelligent movement, of that consciousness. Through that, one of the key pieces that really initiated hip-hop was when Africa Bambaataa was utilizing the elements, which at the time were the core four elements of breaking, DJing, graffiti art, and MC and DJ, graffiti art, and beatboxing. And these were all forms that were brought to a park. It was just regular gatherings, and it was utilized to create a gang truce to end violence that was going on in the community and bringing everybody under one banner. So that's kind of that extension of how hip-hop has always really, at its core, been that child of the civil rights movement, been about peace, love, unity, and safely having fun. We see a lot of distortions through mass media, which is a large part of why we have youth that are in lockup, why we have people that, at the largest rate in the world that are incarcerated. And it's those distortions, those sort of corporate-driven entities that like to distort those realities for us, tell our narratives. So again, kind of bringing back that hip-hop consciousness is really about bringing back our ability to self-express, our ability to tell our own narrative. And as Reies was really kind of pinpointing was, you got to know where you're coming from to know where you're going. So when we talk about the beginnings of the culture, I just like to remind everybody that in its essence, it was to decriminalize people who were marginalized. It's to decriminalize the corporate-driven narrative of who we might appear to be through these entities, and bringing back that peace, love, unity, and safely having fun aspect. Some of the other things that I've been working on personally here in Minnesota, as well as with Save the Kids, is really trying to institute the culture piece, trying to create a paradigm shift in this sort of new beginning or new Reconstruction era, since we're kind of in this regurgitated new Jim Crow era. And through that, I've been working with numerous hip-hoppers throughout the United States and abroad, as well as Canada, to really kind of form a base of people that we can start to create this institution, or rather institutionalizing hip-hop culture. That's not selling out, it's more about integrating and sort of creating a bubble of space within this to kind of push out negative energy. One of the ways that I've been doing that is starting here in Minnesota with the Minnesota Hip Hop Coalition. It is all about hip hop consciousness and hip hop culture first and foremost. The products and services we see expressed day in and day out, and again, it's about kind of helping people to remember or re-ember, re-spark that knowledge of consciousness in themselves. We believe as hip hop that wealth is defined when you bring value to the people, places, and things already around you or in your existence. Poverty begins when you start to envy things outside of your immediate reach. This is why we go to a park. We don't look for permits. We go in our backyard. We have house parties. These are things that are in our immediate reach. These are things that are easily attainable right now. Every little thing or everything that seems minor, we know just by looking in the world and the universe, everything that seems minor is really a very major component in a much larger thing. So one of the things here that we've done is just recently we made a historic move. We had the governor of our state, Governor Mark Dayton, create a state proclamation recognizing Hip Hop Appreciation Week, which is the third week of May every year. And this is the first in the country. So not only is it sort of a Minnesota state historical piece, but it's a United States historical piece as well as a global historical piece. This is something that's never been done. There's never been anybody that high level of office that has even really recognized hip-hop except to exploit it for votes. So that was a very significant symbolic gesture and really kind of setting a ground, not only here in Minnesota, but across the country and in other countries, that people are really starting to look at a different way now of how hip-hop can be more properly introduced, more culturally introduced, and bringing out its real mission, which is a multi-ethnic, multi-genre, multi-generational, multi-skilled, multi-faith people. And again, this goes back to the civil rights, which is our prophet, who is Dr. Martin Luther King, and he believed in this sort of new generation. He decreed this in his I Have a Dream speech about a day when a multi-generational, multi-ethnic, multi-faith people will all be sitting down to the table of brotherhood. And that wasn't a symbolic brotherhood. This was literally blood brothers and blood sisters. And so this creates a very unique space that really many religions, many institutions, many cultures have all attempted to try and do, which was bringing everybody together. And with hip-hop, it's a very natural thing. And so that's kind of some of the things that I try to bring out, that natural bonding, that natural grouping together by association through a shared consciousness.
And our last speaker